1 minute. Presentation. Okay, I'll share my screen now. Okay, where is this option to share? Okay, share screen. Presentation. Okay. All right. So what I'll do is, let me also go to database. Chapter 2. Database. Okay. Right. So in the first verse, Sanjaya is saying, Arjuna, you're full of compassion. Seeing Arjuna, Krishna is seeing Arjuna, he's full of compassion, right? His mind was depressed, his eyes was full of tears. And Madhusudana, that is Krishna, spoke the following words. What does the second verse say? What does Krishna say in the second verse? Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, how have the impurities come upon you? What is the reason? How does these impurities come upon you? You're such a, they are not befitting a man who knows the value of life. I know you are a man who knows the value of life. How come you have impurities come upon you? This is not going to lead you to higher planets, but it is going to lead you to infamy. And in the third verse, he's saying, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. Like that he's saying. And O killer of enemies, killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle with men like Bhishma and Drona? How can I do that? Arjuna is asking, oh my God, how can I just counterattack and put arrows on relatives like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? I worship them. And how can I put upon arrows upon them? It would be better to live a life begging in this world rather than killing these people at the cost of these great souls. I don't think it's better for me to do that. I'm better off begging from people. Even though desiring worldly gain, they're all superiors. They all want kingdom. Of course, I understand that part. They all want kingdom. They're all superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Right? Whatever, even if I win this kingdom, after having lost them, what will this kingdom be made of? The kingdom will be tainted with blood. So I really don't want to kill my relatives. And then sixth verse, he's saying, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So this is the status of people. Status of Arjuna specifically. We are seeing that Arjuna is confused what he has to do as far as this war goes. And he's just very much lamenting, saying that this kingdom, it will be tainted with blood. And how can I fight with people who are worshipable for me? And I'm not able to do that. This is just not because of my importance or anything. Krishna is saying, of course, you are degrading to becoming impotent. Impotent means unable to fight. And give up this pretty weakness. Give up this identification with the body and come on, fight. And he's also, Krishna is also asking, how have these impurities come upon you? This does not befit you at all. And it is also not going to lead you to higher planets. If you think this is going to lead you to higher planets, definitely not. It is not going to lead you to higher planets. So can we look into the seventh verse for today and get started with our PowerPoint presentation? And if you want to read the verses, I can allow you to read. If you know these verses memorized, that's also a good idea. Okay, so let me go to the seventh verse now. Yeah, seventh verse. Yeah. Karmanyadosho pahata swabhavaha prachami tvam dharma samudacheta yashreyashan nishchitam bruhi tanme sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Very, very important verse, right? This marks the change. This marks the twist to Bhagavad Gita, I would say. Why is a twist happening here? If you look at this verse, Arjuna is confused about his duty, right? And he has lost all his composure because of miserly weakness. And in this condition, he is asking Krishna, what is best for me? Correct. What is really best for me? Now, I'm not your friend, okay? You don't think I'm your friend now. I'm no more your friend. Arjuna wants Krishna to be treated like a spiritual master. And he's saying, I'm a disciple of you, Krishna. I'm your disciple. I'm the soul surrendered on you. I please instruct me. I'm not anyways going to treat you as my friend anymore because that is not going to help me. What will happen? If a friend says something, we will obey or not obey, right? Depending on our mood, we will say, okay, no problem. I think you're right, so I'll probably accept what you're saying. Your friend may say, hey, it's okay to eat anything during Ekadasi, okay? But that friend is not at all, he's not, of course, obviously you have to be spiritually sound, but this friend is not even spiritually sound, so might as well not listen to him. In some cases, when your friend is spiritually sound and he's telling you good things, hey Govind, you should do deity worship to Krishna every day. If he says that, then Govind will say, I think it's okay, but I don't have so much time. I attend a lot of classes. I really don't have time for deity worship. Like that, Govind will say to his friend. So he may or may not follow the instructions of a friend. But in case of a spiritual master, your parents must have taken initiation vows. Are they following the 4 regs and are they chanting the 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds? Yes. Yes, Manhar says yes and Govind says yes. So when it comes to spiritual master, we follow the instructions, right? And that is why here Arjuna is actually addressing Krishna as a spiritual master. So he is able to follow his instructions of the spiritual master. Are you all able to understand why he is actually converting himself from the mood of friendship to mood of being a disciple of Lord Krishna? Are you all able to understand that? Yes? Okay, good. So now we will move on to the next slide. Agonized at the prospect of fighting against his own relatives, Arjuna cast aside his bow, right? He did not want, we're just trying to recap here to see how we actually got down here. So Arjuna, he cast off his bow and he said, I'm not going to fight anymore. When Krishna exhorted him to fight, he protested strongly, arguing that he cannot shoot arrows at the elders who are worthy of his veneration. What does worthy of veneration means? Worthy of respect. Despite this protest, he soon surrendered to Krishna, praying for guidance. So now he is a surrendered soul unto Lord Krishna. Arjuna's disposition has changed from protest to prayer. Now he's not protesting anymore. He's asking Krishna, you tell me what I have to do. I will follow your instructions. So it is coming, there is a transition here. He's not opposed to the idea of fighting, but he's saying, I really look forward to you guiding me here. So there is a prayer, there is a request. And this shows Arjuna's humility. Humility, what does it mean? It means acknowledging that God in his infinite wisdom always has a plan, and we of our finite intelligence don't always have access to the plan. So that means we have to surrender to whatever Krishna's will is. Since we don't have access to his plans, right? We don't know what is in store for us. Maybe 5 years down the line, who knows? Some of you may get initiated even. Right? We don't know what Krishna's plan is, and when we actually start to abide by the Krishna's plan and take, okay, this is the plan of Krishna, then that is what is humility. Just go with the plan of Krishna and always surrender to Krishna no matter what the circumstance is. Krishna always has better plan for us. That should be our mindset. Similarly, when faced with obstacles, perplexities, or adversities, we need to change our driving question from why is this happening to me to why are you letting this happen? To how can I move ahead now to make this change? We need humility. We must humbly pray, Krishna, I don't know what to do in this situation, but you know, you are my greatest well-wisher. So please guide me. So we all have this habit of always saying, why is this happening to me? Why did this Krishna do this to me? Why is he letting this happen to me? So instead of actually being sorrowful about how our situation is, we should just turn to prayerful mood, to saying, Krishna, I don't know what to do, but you know what I should do. So you are my greatest well-wisher. So what you have to do, ask and beg Krishna to guide you to come out of that situation. However worse the situation is in your life, immediately take shelter of Krishna and ask Krishna, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Please guide me through it so that I'm able to think and remember you and serve you all the time. So this is the mood. Okay, and the next slide. Humility means you are convinced beyond any doubt there is nothing in this world, absolutely nothing in this world, not your money, not your family, not your fame, not your gun, not your education, nothing that will save you except the mercy of Krishna. When you are convinced like this, then you are humble. So we all have this attitude, right? What is humble? What is humility? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manatena kirtaniya sadaharihi. We should chant in a mood of being humble. Means even when we are chanting, it is due to the mercy of Krishna that we are able to chant, right? The tongue is able to move because Krishna has bestowed mercy upon us. And that is why we are able to chant. And that is why even Mataji is able to speak, right? Otherwise, how will I be able to speak? One second. So this is what is humility. And then, so one second. I'm just getting a message here. Okay, so all of you all, do you know what is happening in this verse? There is a transition from Krishna becoming a friend to actually, one second. So now we all understood what humility means, right? So 2.7 is done. So this is the transition words of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, very important. I'm going to obviously ask everyone questions. And so you should all be in a position to answer these questions. Only if you listen the class, you'll be answered, right? So Arjuna, so what is the mood of understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna versus mundane scholar. Let's understand. Arjuna's mood, correct mood, incorrect mood, mundane scholar. Stop friendship and surrenders to Krishna as the first disciple of Bhagavad Gita. They say, okay, the Mayavadis actually say there is no need to submit to Krishna, but you have to submit to the unborn within Krishna. That means they don't believe in the human form of Krishna, but they believe something is there in spirit. Spirit and body are same for Krishna. They don't understand that. Okay, that is why they are being addressed as a great fool here. Okay, and here the glories of Arjuna are being said, right? Arjuna, he's in a correct mood, meaning he understands that his position of Krishna, Krishna being in a position to actually be able to guide him and guide him and be able to direct him, because he addressed him as a spiritual master. So better to admit I am wrong and be right than to insist I am right and say strong. Better to look stupid than to act stupid. So what does this mean? Sometimes what happens is, your parents may say something to you, but you will be like, no, I'm right. But you probably are wrong, but you would assume yourself to be right. And then you obviously stay wrong all the time. Instead of actually converting yourself from right to wrong, you actually stay wrong. So this is what should be avoided, which is what is clarified in this particular slide. Agonized at the prospect of fighting against his own relatives, Arjuna cast aside his bow. Then Krishna exhorted him to, this is what we said, right? This is what we did. I'm sorry. We can't have this. Okay. So now Arjuna shows some emotional conflicts and physical comforts that cannot help, right? There are so many problems in life. Like Arjuna had everything going on with him. Like he had talent, he had skill, he had health, he had family, and he had friendship with Krishna. Yet it was not possible for him to solve his problems in life, which he is facing now. In the same way, we also have a lot of problems. What are all the problems? Illness, slow recovery, sudden death, tormenting boss, abusing relatives. Sometimes even your relatives could be abusing, or your own family members could be abusing. There could be someone whom you are responsible to report to some issues, and they could be tormenting you. And there could be sudden death of family members. There could be some illness. Thieves may steal away your money. So many challenging things are coming up. Right? And tension also exists between relationships, like between your brother, sister, or between your family members, mom and dad. You may not get along well with them. They may say something and you may say something, because you just don't get along, right? So many problems that we have in our life. And all these are not going to be solved. It is very difficult. Unless you take shelter of Lord, nothing can help you. So these material, you can be a great scholar, you can be getting first grade in all your subjects, meaning you can get A grade or A plus, whatever that is. But still, that doesn't mean you can become free from problems, right? Still, you have to go through problems. And these problems can be resolved only if we surrender on to Lord Krishna. Are you able to understand, kids? So this is a very important slide in terms of who we have to surrender to. And material qualifications will not help us solve the real problems of our life. So these are the slides on different Sampratayas actually. There is Madhvacharya, that is Madhva Samprataya, there is Sri Samprataya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka. So these are all some bona fide, 4 bona fide Sampratayas. There are there are 4 Vaishnava Sampratayas of disciplic succession, and 1 Samprataya comes from Lord Brahma, 1 from Goddess of Fortune, 1 from Kumaras, and other from Lord Shiva. These are the 4 disciplic succession that are still going on. As King Prithu has illustrated, one who is serious about receiving the transcendental Vedic knowledge must accept a guru or spiritual master in one of these 4 disciplic successions. It is said that unless one accepts the mantra from these Sampratayas, the so-called mantra will not act in Kali Yuga. So it is very important to get mantra from the bona fide Samprataya, like we have 4 of them here. Okay. So what is our mantra that we should all be chanting? It is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in Satya Yuga, there was meditation on Lord Vishnu, and in Treta Yuga, people are performing sacrifices. Dwapara Yuga, it used to be temple worship, And in Kali Yuga, which is the current age, people are following the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So who's the man in material perplexities? In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, the perplexed man is described as follows. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as human. He who quits this world like cats and dogs without understanding the science of self-realization. He is a wise Brahmana who leaves this world knowing the solutions to life's problems. So wise person is one who knows how to actually solve the problems of life and not quit these problems. Oh, I'm just quitting these problems. That is not what a wise person is up to. So we have four problems, right? Birth, death, old age, and disease. So, yes, birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the four problems that we have in life. And how can we stop the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease? What is the process that we need to adopt?
Where is the birth, death, and you say birth, death, and old age?
Yes, birth, death, old age, and disease. How can we actually stop the cycle?
First, from chanting the holy names, and then at the end of your life, remember Lord Krishna, and then you go back to the spiritual world. You will come back from the material world.
Wonderful. That is what we need to do, right? We have to summon our, see, all of you all, are you all having plans getting initiated at some point in life? Yes, Govinda says yes. Okay, so will you be able to chant 16 rounds minimum and follow the 4 regs? Manhar says yes, I can do it. Nihal, what about you, dear? Okay, I don't hear from you, Nihal. Anybody else? Varun?
Mataji, I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh, actually, I was asking about samsara, how we can get out of the samsara. And samsara means we are stuck in this birth, death, old age, and disease. And Govind actually said we have to actually get initiated with a spiritual master. And after getting initiated, we receive a qualified Maha mantra for us to be able to chant. And then when we chant and remember Krishna during the time of death, remembering Krishna when we die, we will be able to go back to Godhead. This is what Govind said. And I was asking, will you all have this, do you all want to get initiated at some point in time? That was the question that I posed to the group. Yes? Varun, are you here? Did you understand?
Yes, Mataji.
So there are 4 bona fide Sampratayas. Does anybody want to say what the 4 are? One is, of course, Gaudiya. Yes, Manhar, go ahead.
One is Kumar Sampradaya, the other one is Lakshmi Sampradaya, the other one is Shiva Sampradaya, and the other one is Brahma Sampradaya.
Yes, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. Yes. And so Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Nimbarkacharya, and we have Vishnu Swami, right? I think these are the 4 proponents that we saw from previous slide, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarkacharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya. And these are the 4 bona fide Sampradayas. So if you are going to receive initiation mantras from any of these bona fide Sampradayas, it is very good. You will be able to go back to Godhead. And we are all Gaudiya Vaishnavites, okay? Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. All right, so now we are going to go into the next verse for today, which is the first verse, so the verse that we had, the 2.7 verse that we have.
Okay, yeah. Another verse. Kapanya dosya bhava Krishnamittam dharma sameda cheta Visheshan fena
Yashreyasyanishritam bruhitanme
Ishashitrinam prapata.
Mataji, can I recite also?
Yes, go ahead, Manha.
कार्पण्यदोषोपहता स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वं धर्मसमूढचेता यच्छ्रेयस्यानुष्ठितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
Wonderful. Anybody else wants to recite? Varun? Nihal? Okay, I don't know if you're able to hear me. Yash? Kushi? Anybody wants to say this verse? Okay. Okay. Who wants to recite this verse?
Can one her?
Yes, go ahead.
Sanjay Vacha Evam Uktva Hiriksham Gudaksheya Parantapa Nayochya Iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha.
Tushnim Bahuvaha. Good job. So we see Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, the chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. So this is what Arjuna did.
Can I read next verse?
Okay, you can read the same verse, dear.
Sanjaya Vacha Ekatutta Hrishikesham Buddhakesha Parantapa Nayocheti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha.
Wonderful. Okay, so now Sanjaya is disappointing Dhritarashtra by declaring Arjuna as competent to kill
But
his
Mataji,
enemy.
I have a question, but we didn't saw the other page, 42, 43, and 44.
Huh?
We didn't saw the 42, 43, and 44, the slides.
Yeah. So yeah, 42, 43, and 44. Like there's just birth, death, old age, and disease. Okay. So that's what was there on the slides. So Sanjaya is disappointing Dhritarashtra by declaring Arjuna as competent to kill his enemies. So Dhritarashtra is telling, Sanjaya is telling, hey, this guy Arjuna, he seems to be a really competent person. Maybe he can kill the enemies. And Sanjaya informs Dhritarashtra that Arjuna was temporarily overwhelmed, but has now surrendered on to Krishna, and he would soon fight. So he is telling, see, Dhritarashtra is blind, and who is commenting to Dhritarashtra about what is happening in the warfield? It is Sanjaya. And what are the three effects of surrender which was manifested in Arjuna? One is enlightenment, another is freedom from false lamentation, and third one is reinstatement in his own duty. Example, Arjuna would surely fight. So what is enlightenment? Enlightenment means he is currently very doubtful, very confused, very much in a perplexed situation. But since he has surrendered to Lord Krishna, he will now become enlightened. And then he's going to become free from false lamentation. He is falsely crying, I'm not going to fight the war. I'm not going to fight because my relatives are going to be killed. I cannot kill them. They will die. Even if they die, the kingdom will be tainted with blood. So I'm not going to fight. Please, I'm really not at all going to fight. But then now he surrendered to Krishna, because of which he's going to be free from lamentation. He's not going to be lamenting anymore. And then third thing, most important thing is reinstatement of his own duty. Meaning, as a Kshatriya, he's supposed to fight, and he will surely fight because he has surrendered to Lord Krishna. So this is what is the understanding. And now, so now we understand what are the three things. I will be asking question on this, okay? One is enlightenment, another is freedom from false lamentation, third one is reinstatement of his own duty. Are you all clear, kids?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. What is enlightenment? What is freedom from false lamentation? And what is reinstatement in own position or own duty means is something that I will ask you. Okay, who wants to read this verse? Okay, go 1 second. I see some raised hands. Okay, Prema Priya Padma. Okay, I don't know if that was Manhar. Go ahead.
Okay, Mataji. Tamavacha Rishikesha Prahastan Eva Bharata Senior Ubhayor Madhe Vishidantam Idam Vacha.
Okay, Varun.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Prahasan eva bharata senayo bayor madhye vishidantamidham vachaha.
Oh, descendant of Bharata. At that time, Krishna is smiling in the midst of both the armies. He spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Oh, okay. Mihika, go ahead.
तमुवाच हृषीकेशः प्रहसनीय वा इव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तम् इदं वचः.
Okay, Anjaneya, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead and read the verse.
तमुवाच ऋषिकेश प्रहसन्निव भारतः सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तम् इमं वचः.
Idam vacha. Okay. Oh, descendant of Bharata. At the time, Krishna smiling in the midst of both the armies, he spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Who's now Arjuna, we all know he's grief-stricken, right? He's not yet come out of that position. And Krishna is just smiling like this. Okay, now what is going to happen? I've placed the chariot in between two armies. And what is going to happen now? Arjuna is going to look at the armies like this, and he's going to look at his relatives, and he's going to say, I'm not going to fight anymore. I am going to not fight because I'm seeing my relatives on both the sides and I worship my relatives with reverence. So Arjuna is going to come up and say these words. Okay, so now what are the 5 types of rasa? Does anybody know what these rasas mean?
Yes, I know. Govinda.
Okay, so Dasya means servant relationship with Lord Krishna. So when we go back to Goloka Vrindavana, we will be in relationship with Krishna in one of these rasas. Okay, meaning you could be a servant of Lord Krishna. You could have some kind of parental feeling to Lord Krishna, which is like Nanda Maharaj, Yashodama, like that. And then Sakya, meaning you could have friendly relationship with Lord Krishna, like how Arjuna is having. And you could have Madhurya, right? Madhurya means prema, right? The conjugal relationship with the Lord is Madhurya. And then Shanta is a very neutral relationship. So these are the 5 different types of relationships that one can have with Lord Krishna when we go back to the spiritual world. Do you have any questions? This will be one of the questions that I will ask you. Are you clear of the different kinds of rasa that one will experience after going to Goloka Vrindavana? So Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Okay. So now we are going to look into the different set of verses to understand that Krishna is going to now educate Arjuna about the soul. This is very important section, right? Because Arjuna is very compassionate. He doesn't want to fight at the bodily level, and that is the reason why Krishna is educating him about what does it mean. There is no death for the soul. So this is something that Krishna is going to educate Arjuna about, meaning he's going to tell him that there is no death for the soul. It is even if you kill people, you are not going to affect them because the soul is not going to die at the end of the day. So that is what is the understanding. You are stuck in the bodily level, identifying yourself with the body, because of which you are thinking it is my relative, it is my friend, it is so and so, and you are tying them to a bodily designation, because of which you don't want to fight, but there is no death for the soul. And this is how Arjuna is going to now, sorry, Krishna is now going to convince Arjuna. Okay, next verse. Go ahead and raise your hands so I can call you out for you to read. Okay. Anjaneya, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. Are you able to see? Yeah, Anjaneya, go ahead.
Okay. Shri Bhagavanuvacha asocyanamasocha swam prajnavadamscha bhasase gatasuna gatasumscha nanushocanti panditaha.
Wonderful. Manhar, go ahead.
Okay, Mataji. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Asochananva Sochaswam Pragnavadam Shabhasase Katasum Sagatasum Cha Nanu Sochanti Pandita.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, dear. Varun. Wonderful. Thank you. Mihika.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Soshananvasoshasvam Pragnavadam Shabhashase Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanusochanti Pandita.
Wonderful. So what is Krishna saying here? Krishna is saying, see, Arjuna, you are speaking all learned words, okay? You are very speaking learned words. You are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Sometimes we cry, right? When we cry, is it worthy of our grief? When you think about it, it will definitely not be. Sometimes we may actually be crying for something. I want this. My parents didn't get me this. So you start to cry, thinking in anticipation that when you cry, your parents will buy that for you. And sometimes you will also cry when somebody scolds you, right? And that's not worthy of grief at all. So this is what is, likewise, whatever Arjuna is lamenting for now, it's not at all worthy of grief. And what is Krishna saying? Those who are wise lament neither for living nor for dead. They don't lament at all. This is what the wise people do. They better utilize their energy in something else more productive than lamenting for something that is useless, not worthy of lamentation. So this is what is Krishna's point to Arjuna. You seems like you are speaking good words and all that, but you're speaking learned words and you're mourning for not what is worthy of grief. But a person who is wise, he doesn't lament at all. And this is what you need to follow through. So now the first step in teaching is to dismantle students' misconception, which may require strong words. Sometimes to learn, we have to unlearn. What does this mean? Some people, they say, for example, they have worshipped demigods, okay? And they have thought demigods to be the supreme personality of Godhead. If for them, if you have to educate Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, then first you have to get them out of the conception that demigods are subservient to Lord Krishna. And for that, you have to actually help them first unlearn whatever they have learned. Because whatever they have learned, it's not right. That is not the right perspective. They have learned everything wrong. Say, for example, if some teacher taught you piano techniques, if she has a different way of teaching kids, and if she has taught it the wrong way, then you go and play a song in one of the competitions and everybody says, oh, whatever you played is completely wrong. Then you're like, okay, my teacher has taught this wrong to me and that is why I'm playing this way. So now your parents are taking you to a different teacher. And the different teacher has to undo whatever you learned, because your finger will go like that. Instead of A, it will go to C. Instead of C, it is going to A. Because that is how you are taught, which is wrong. So what does it mean? You have to be unlearning that. And that requires a lot of effort. At least if you don't know any piano techniques, then no problem. We can completely learn it from the scratch. But if you have to unlearn, it takes a longer time. Are you able to understand this concept, kids? It's very important. To unlearn is more, it's going to take you more time than learning it all new. Okay? And God's purpose is just not to comfort us, it is also to challenge and change us, right? So now we are all having this mentality of lording it over material nature and wanting to enjoy. So if God has to change our understanding, then first of all, we need to unlearn. Whatever is there in our mind now has to be unlearned. That is why spiritual impressions has to be placed in us, right? If you don't have any spiritual impressions in your brain, then how can you unlearn? Whatever you have learned is stored here, and that has to be unlearned, because we have a desire. We all have, okay, I want to enjoy, I want to play this, I want to be good at this, I want to be the master, I want to be controlling everyone. If we have this mentality, we have to all unlearn whatever we have learned from years together, millions of births. We have learned so many things. All that needs to be unlearned. And that is why God's purpose is just not to comfort us. He's not going to say, okay, you lead a comfortable life. No, he has to unteach us, right? He has to teach us over and over, help us understand the scriptures. He has to also challenge us, give us some scenarios in life when we face some scenarios, we understand that we need to change ourselves as a person. Are you able to understand? In this way, we will be able to reform ourselves. So even during class, some people will be dreaming or looking into websites, different websites, or being distracted with what your mom cooks in the kitchen for Ekadasi. So many things may happen in the background. That is because of our past habits. If we have to unlearn, we have to put in effort, right? If your parents say chant, and if you say, no, I'm not in a mood to chant, that is because of our past habits. So we have to be happy that somebody is constantly telling us, do this, do this, do this. But if you are not following through, that person will not even say anything after a while. He'll just leave it, and you are not going to go in the right direction. So we have to ask ourselves what we need to do. Education is not meant for globalization. It is meant for internalization and transformation. So whatever Mataji is teaching now, it has to get into our hearts, and it has to transform our hearts. It has to transform, meaning we all have to take a vow to say, oh, I should get initiated at some point in time. Oh, 16 rounds, how can I chant? I don't want to get initiated. It is such a big task to chant 16 rounds. Oh, this is too much for me in my life. If you think like that, then how is transformation going to happen? Right? We need to be determined. We need to see our parents. Okay, they are chanting the rounds, so we also have to follow through. In order to go back to Krishna, we also must follow through and be like them. And that is how we internalize and transform ourselves. Okay, are you able to understand, kids? Okay, can I ask you questions, or let's go to the next verse and then maybe stop? Maybe.
I'll try to do it.
What is that? I didn't get it.
You can ask questions. I'm fine.
Oh, okay, good. That's very nice. So we will just maybe just go through this verse, and then not any other slides, but just this verse, and then I'll ask questions. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Read. Manhar, go ahead.
Okay, Mataji.
Hmm.
Natva evaham jatu nasam na tvam nema jana thitvaha न चैव न भविष्याम सर्वे वयम् अतः परम्.
Very good. Varun?
नत्वैवाहं धातुना सन्नत्वं नैमे जनाधिप नैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयम् अतः परम्.
Very good. Anjaneya?
Yeah.
Hmm.
नत्वेवाहं जातु नासं नत्वां नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्.
Wonderful. Mihika?
न त्वैवाहं जातु नाशं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपा न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्.
Wonderful. So, never was there a time when I did. Govind, did you want to chant here? I'm not able to hear. Okay. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So there was never a time I did not exist, and you also existed all the time. Nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So this is what we will be seeing in our
And the
next
class will
class.
end.
Yeah, next class we will see this verse and understand what does this verse mean. We'll get into the purport a little bit more. And now I'll ask question answers, okay? You can raise your hands and tell me if you know the answer for these questions, okay? 2.7. Tell me the verse. 2.7.
Can Manhar?
Okay, Manhar, go ahead.
कार्पण्य दोषोपहता स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वं धर्म समूढचेता यच्छ्रेयसानिष्ठितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
Okay, what did you learn from this verse? Not
That-
Manhar, anybody else? Who wants to say? Govind? After that, Varun, next question maybe. Govind? Okay, I don't see Govind. Okay, Varun, go ahead.
Arjuna is saying that he's very like he doesn't know like what he's supposed to do, and he's like he's asking like Krishna, he's asking him what is best for him to do, and then he's like saying that okay, I am now your disciple, and he's saying I really want you to instruct me to do it.
Yes, he's changing his relationship from the mood of friendship to being a surrendered soul to Lord Krishna, right? That is that's because if you are taking any instructions from the spiritual master, you will definitely follow it through. But if you are asking a friend his opinion and your friend says something, you may or may not follow it through. And that is why here it is very important for us to understand why why Arjuna is approaching Krishna in a mood of spiritual master. Okay, Varun, did you get it? What are the 5 rasas that one will be what are the 5 rasas that one will have when they go to Goloka Vrindavana? Anjaneya. Hari bol, Anjaneya.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Shanta, Dasya, Vatsalya, Sakya or Prema.
Wonderful. Or prema is madhurya, okay? Conjugal
Oh.
relationship. Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. Very good attentive listening, Anjaneya. Thank you so much. Okay, the next question. Does the soul die? Govind.
No, the soul is internal and the soul is never died. Only the body dies.
Wonderful. The soul never dies, but only the body lies.
So the soul has another, also there's another verse, 2.8, Chapter 2, text 20.
Okay, we will go through that little later. Okay. What about does it take time to unlearn? Yes, or is it better? Does it take time? I mean, compared to a new learning versus to unlearn, what is the difference? Manhar. No, wait a minute, Manhar. Mihika has not answered. Go ahead, Mihika.
So to learn something it takes time, but to unlearn something it takes more time.
Okay. So what are we supposed to unlearn? Varun, what are we supposed to unlearn?
Mataji, so like you gave an example of how like when you're doing piano, it's very like it's much easier to learn, but when you try to unlearn, it's practically impossible. It's very hard, and we should unlearn all these like material things and like all the bad things.
Yeah, and then keep us when we replace it with spiritual impressions, then the material impressions go and the spiritual impressions then occupy the front. Okay, so this is the way we can unlearn what we learned, because from so many lifetimes we have been learning, oh, I need to enjoy, I need to become the proprietor, I need to become a controller. So we need to unlearn those things. Are you able to understand? Okay, the next question.
When the class will end.
Baby, there is one more minute. Govinda, what is going on? You are not getting interest in the Bhagavad Gita?
I am, but I need to little something.
You have something else to do after this?
No, I was saying what time the class will end.
Oh, it is going to end anytime, okay? Anyways, what is being depicted here in this slide? Can somebody tell me, Manhar?
So like God's purpose is not just to like comfort us. It's also to like change us.
How will he change us? Okay, wait, Mahika, how will he change us?
So you how Krishna will change us is by giving us challenges, which will help us to get other people's like help, and then they will help us change our behavior if it's bad.
Wonderful. If we take it in the right way, if we go against it, and we will not learn. Instead, if we fight through it, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to I'm not going to listen whatever you're saying. If you're going to revolt and revolt against the particular challenge, then you're not going to learn anything. Very good point, Mihika. It is for us to change. Our attitude has to change. If we are rebellious, if we are showing anger all the time, then Krishna, he puts us through so many situations. He's seeing, oh, will he calm down? Will he become a good boy? Will he become nice? Like that, he puts us through so many challenges in our life for us to change. This is why if some miseries come to us, it is definitely for our own benefit. Okay, very important point. Are you able to understand, kids? This slide is very important to help us understand that we all need to change. And Krishna is making that change happen in us. And we just have to cooperate with it. We should not be stubborn and say, no, I won't change. We should change. Then only it is good. Okay? I think, does anybody else want to answer any question? Please raise your hands. For those who have not answered, Kushi or Nihal, anybody wants to answer? I know you guys, you have not answered. Yash, if you want to answer, I can ask you a question. 3 of you, do you want to answer or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Who's this?
Nihal.
Nihal. Okay. Let me see what else. So Arjuna was compassionate, right? So what are the four things that happen in our samsara? We are constantly going through. What are the 4 things?
I don't know.
Like birth, like that.
Okay, birth,
Mm.
and then death,
Mm.
and then
What are the other two?
what?
Other two. Yeah, go ahead. It's correct. Birth, death. What else? Very good. Go ahead, Nihal.
Old age,
Old age, yes. Good job.
and young age.
Birth, death, old age, and disease.
Oh,
Disease. Okay, don't forget that next time. So because of these, we are over and over subjected to this, over and over again and again. Birth, death, old age, disease is coming back and back. So we need to definitely get out of this samsara. And for that, what should we do? Kushi, are you on, dear? Okay. Yash, do you want to say what we should do to get out of this birth, death, old age, and disease?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have to chant the holy name of Krishna.
Yes. By the instructions of our spiritual master, we need to chant the holy names of Lord Krishna in order for us to go back to Godhead. Very good job. Okay, so we will convene now and meet in the next class. Okay, happy Ekadasi, everyone.
Tomorrow, Mataji, we will meet tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we'll meet tomorrow for Ramayan, right? Yes. I'll
Yeah.
see you all for Ramayan class. Good job. Very good job and attentive listening, kids. So let's have the same enthusiasm tomorrow too. Yes, Manhar, go ahead.
I do Ekachi every time.
Oh, what do you do for Ekadasi?
Like,
Me too.
I don't eat any grains.
You don't eat anything?
I don't eat any grains. Like we buy like a type of samosa and a type of pizza that don't have grains.
Yes, yes. So
Me
you
too,
follow.
me too. I eat quinoa and only fruits. That's it.
I used to eat quinoa. I don't eat it anymore.
You like
eat
sabudana?
more.
Do you like sabudana?
So fast.
I kind of like it. I like it with a
I eat samurai, but the devotee says you eat samurai. So like you break fast actually sometimes.
What is that, Govind? Samurai you eat?
Yeah, sometimes I eat, but you just see the perfect samurai. You cannot get like other samurai. You get other samurais, like you also sometimes will break you fast.
Oh wow, we have to be careful about what samurai we're getting in. Okay,
I eat
thank you.
sabudana also.
Sabudana, okay, good job. Wonderful. Okay, so follow your Ekadasi vows, very important, and it's good that you attended the class today. That way we all remembered Krishna today, right? Otherwise it's very difficult to do it alone. If you are asked to do something alone, oh, do this, do that, it's difficult. But when you are in the association of devotees, see younger kids like you are also there, then it becomes easy for us to remember Krishna.
Yeah.
That is why we come together, right? And we don't ask when will the class end. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Bye. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Radhika Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All glories to assembled devotees. Bye.
Bye. Hare Krishna, Hare Bo. See you
Hare Bo.
tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.